Florida is famous as a land of sunshine and glistening white beaches, stately palms and exciting tourist attractions, flourishing citrus groves and expanding industry. On the shores of sunny Florida's old Tampa Bay lies a most unusual community, a city within a city. Although now actually a part of Tampa, Ybor City, a self-contained settlement of its own. Often referred to as Tampa's Latin Quarter, here is found the architecture of old Spain, Italy, and Cuba, erected by native sons in the pattern of the old countries so close to their hearts. On Ybor City's Broadway are the finest and modern shopping facilities with a variety to suit every taste. This unique community has a population of 45,000 people, practically all of Latin extraction. Contrasting the glittering stores of today, the street bazaars display unusual items, distinctive in originality to lands across the sea. Here's a handmade alligator bag to gladden the heart of any lady. Miniature dolls, fashioned entirely by hand in Mexican, Cuban, and Spanish costumes. Sidewalk bargains of all kinds attract both the tourist and the resident. One is fascinated by this display of imported handmade crockery and china. This modern American community has not forgotten the traditional customs of its forefathers, and the Latin languages are principally spoken here. You can brush up on your Spanish from the latest movies filmed in Spain, Mexico, and South America. Get your headlines from the daily Spanish press. For unusual things to eat, try some of these sherbets, flavors from the tropical fruits of Cuba and South America. Good. Platano bananas, sliced thin and fried to crispy golden chips. A familiar sight on Ybor City streets is the devil crab peddler. With hot sauce, senor? Si. Here are delicacies to make your mouth water. Tasty pastries and candied tidbits from recipes from the four corners of the world. From sections of this crisp-crusted 3-foot-long Cuban loaf, which you see at the top, the Cuban sandwich is made. With roast beef, baked ham, roast pork, salami, Swiss cheese, mustard, and garnished with pickles, this is a local institution. A 5-course meal blanketed between huge slabs of pan cubano, Cuban bread. Ybor City's Spanish restaurants are legendary and world famous. A trip to the Latin Quarter would not be complete without visiting these extraordinary dining rooms, resplendently copied from buildings in the Latin countries. With a pride in their establishments, the owners of these fine restaurants have competed in the acquisition of art treasures and furnishings at great cost from Europe and Latin America. As many as 7 beautiful dining rooms are found in one of these restaurants. This fountain was imported in sections from Italy and reassembled in this patio. Painstakingly copied in English and Spanish from an early manuscript, the story of Don Quixote with illustrations completely encircles the walls of one room on hand-painted tile. Some of these are originals, and others are copied on small pieces of tile. All masterpieces of Latin art. These surroundings transport one to a hacienda in old Spain or a palazzo near Rome. Don't let the atmosphere detract you. The menu is a greater attraction. Here is served chicken prepared 25 different ways, and steak in your choice of 15 styles. This is a specialty of the house, arroz con pollo, chicken and yellow rice. Stone crabs are garnished with tomato and parsley. A Tony salad fit for a king. Si, senor, this bar has been in service since 1905. Gracias. In these artistic surroundings are found the finest of wine from native vineyards of Spain, Cuba, and Italy. The splendid patio is always in demand for banquets and large parties. The meal is begun with the traditional sopa de garbanzo, Spanish bean soup. The chicken casserole is a vision of taste, unaffected by mass production and handling. Even the after-dinner speaker is not hard to take following a feast like this. In 1885, Senor Vincent Martinez Ybor and others came to Tampa seeking a new site for their cigar factories and founded Ybor City. Cuban, Spanish, and Italian workers thronged to the new settlement. Here is the early wood-burning locomotive which carried passengers between Tampa and Ybor City. The Broadway of the late 1800s was a far cry from the modern business street of today, but as of old, cigar workers still crowd the entrances of the cigar factories. Cigar making is still the principal industry, and the factories, the largest of their kind in the country, employ thousands. The world-famous Tampa cigars are made in Ybor City, and visitors are always welcome in the factories for a first-hand look and even a sample freshly made. The making of fine handmade cigars has changed little since the inception. fine Havana and American tobaccos are carefully sorted and inspected. The filler is skillfully assembled by expert hands and placed in a mold which will hold its shape. It is then rolled in the outside wrapper leaf. Coronas, Royals, Perfectos, and Panatellas are produced, termed by the various sizes, shapes, and qualities. The machine has not replaced the skillful hand, but has increased production to an unbelievable figure. Over 700 million cigars produced here last year. This machine punches, bands, and puts on the familiar cellophane wrapper, the final steps direct to the box. Of course, the federal tax stamps must be applied and the box sealed. This is not a display. These young ladies stack the boxes with air spaces between them until the glue dries to prevent sticking. Also important in Ybor City is Florida's citrus industry. Located in the center of the rich citrus land, many canning plants are in operation. Fruit is unloaded, graded, sorted, and washed. Packing is done both by hand and machine. It takes millions of cans, which are made in huge factories near the processing plant. Precision machinery is designed for fast and low-cost production. Here are large meat packing plants producing both fresh and canned meat products under the most sanitary conditions. This large cement plant figures importantly in the commerce of the state. Giant seagoing ships of all nations steam into old Tampa Bay, discharge freight, then load with local products for transportation to American and foreign ports. From the Latin American countries come smaller vessels with fruit for transshipment to all parts of the nation. These luscious green bananas will ripen on the way to your table. This is the home port of one of Florida's largest shrimp fleets. Thousands of pounds of shrimp are processed and quick frozen for shipment all over the United States. Here's the making of a lot of shrimp cocktail. Some ships tarry for repairs and refitting in the well-equipped shipyards and then move out to sea once again. Ybor City's famous clubs play an important part in the lives of its citizens. Originally formed to aid their members with sickness and hospitalization insurance, these are noted for special social events and gay nightlife. The people of Ybor City were deeply involved in the struggle for Cuban liberation. This beautiful Cuban club is dedicated to Jose Marti, the father of Cuban independence. Marti spent much time in the Latin Quarter conferring and speaking with his supporters. This is the Centro Asturiano Club, a branch of the mother club in Havana, boasting a combined membership of over 50,000. And it is both a welfare and social organization. This stage show is one of the many regular festivities. Bagpipes have been native to the mountains of Spain for centuries. This dance at the Cuban Club celebrates the anniversary of Cuban Independence Day. And it's not hard to fall into the spirit of things. Having ruled throughout the year, it is time for the queen of the Cuban Club to end her reign and pass it to her successor. The new queen ascends the throne to accept the crown, to preside over for the coming year. It's fiesta time for the NPU at the annual Halloween festival. The small fry twirl their batons accompanied by the VM Ybor school band. It's really hard to select the most colorful and unusual costume. And of course, there must be a king and queen of Halloween. And a complete court in attendance. The people of Ybor City are active in their civic sports program and go all out to the old park to cheer their favorites as local teams fight it out. Several times during the season, visiting teams come from Cuba and seats are at a premium. In this huge concrete fronton building seating 3,500, the game of jai alai is played, much as it was 500 years ago in old Spain. The basket fastens to the player's hand and is called a cesta. With it, the ball is thrown against a concrete wall 175 feet away and caught on the rebound, often reaching a speed of over 150 miles an hour. It's no wonder this is called the fastest game in the world, and it's a dangerous one, often resulting in injuries to the players. Players come here from Spain, Mexico, and other Latin countries to compete for prize money, with many from Cuba, where jai alai is the national sport. Sports and recreation are also important in the lives of the young people, and regular swimming lessons for beginners are featured at this magnificent outdoor pool. Florida's warm climate makes this a favorite pastime most of the months of the year. At the Ybor City branch of the Boys Club, young men spend hours that would otherwise be idle in supervised sports and recreation, and the summer camp during vacation months is eagerly awaited. It's not hard to work off some of that youthful energy on the trampoline, and it takes considerable skill to become an expert. In the game room, both players and spectators actually become a part of each contest, and many hours are spent in efforts to become champions. There's nothing like a refreshing shower after one of these workouts. In the shops, Valuable training is received in the crafts and arts, and many of these youngsters often select a trade as a result of this primary experience. One of the main attractions here is the Camera Club and Darkroom, where the mysteries of photography are explored. It's election time in Ybor City, and keen campaigns for alcalde or mayor are in full swing. Here's an example of Latin imagination and civic pride as candidates outdo each other with promises. It's all in fun as the community is actually under the administration of Greater Tampa. But this campaign sometimes stirs up real controversies. During election week, the flag of Ybor City flies over the festivities, and tremendous quantities of specially issued money is passed out by the candidates. At the alcalde's ball, the outgoing mayor makes his farewell speech, surrounded by his cabinet. The new alcalde is sworn in. The settlement's variety of nationalities is represented here by the costumes of many countries. Notable are Dutch, Greek, Italian, Spanish, and American Indian. Traditional folk dances of old Spain are faithfully performed. Famous for their old world atmosphere, the clubs of Ybor City attract dozens of national conventions annually. Starting with the delicious meal of chicken and yellow rice, delegates are serenaded and supplied with local-made cigars by the beautiful senoritas in attendance. And the floor show is something to write home about. Of course, there is dancing on an international pattern from mambo to waltz time. In February, during the Florida State Fair Week, all Ybor City takes time out for a day of celebration. Visitors are treated to a free bowl of the famous Spanish bean soup, complete with Cuban bread. Traffic is stopped on Broadway while native musicians entertain. The finishing touch is a gigantic night parade as pirate Jose Gaspar takes over the city in his annual invasion. This mammoth procession lasts over 2 hours and attracts thousands of spectators from throughout the country. Top-notch bands come hundreds of miles to take part in the gala celebration. floats cost hundreds of dollars to build, are carefully designed, and often take a whole year to construct. Entries come from all parts of the nation and usually include some from Cuba and other Latin countries. After witnessing the Gasparilla Night Parade, it is not hard to understand why it is a long-anticipated feature in the life of the colony. In April, the community holds the Latin American Fiesta with the Queen's presentation of gifts to the members of her court as the ceremonies are broadcast throughout the nation on radio and television networks. Bidding farewell to her loyal subjects, she surrenders the crown and abdicates in favor of the new queen. Who will she be? The crowd holds their breath as no one yet knows which of the 10 candidates will be chosen. The blushing selectee, with tears in her eyes, marches proudly forward with her escort to accept the honor of which many young ladies dream. Visiting royalty, the King and Queen of Tampa's Gasparilla. And a visiting dignitary from Puerto Rico. Gaiety and laughter prevail in the royal command performance. The Queen is an ambassador to carry the goodwill of Tampa's Latin colony to the Latin countries she will visit in the year to come. A fitting finale to a gay year in the lives of a gay people in Ybor City, the city within a city.